Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. In continuation to human physiology, locomotion and movements, we are at the stage to discuss the contraction of muscles, what we call as the muscle contraction. In the muscle contraction, there are some things involved. The first thing is the motor unit. Second is innervation of skeletal muscles. Third is all or none principle. Fourth is threshold stimulus. And fifth is single muscle twitch. And one more is that is tetanus. And one more thing is that is called as muscle tonus. These all things will be discussed briefly in this lecture. A vertebrate muscle is composed of a large number of muscle fibers. This is a vertebrate muscle. It is made up of a large number of muscle fibers. The muscle fibers are arranged in groups. Each group is under the control of a single motor neuron. Under the single motor neuron, which sends a terminal branch to each fiber of the group. All the muscle fibers of a group contract when a nerve impulse changes in electrical potential of a nerve fiber. All the muscle fibers of a group contract when a nerve impulse, that is, change in electric potential of a nerve fiber, travels down their motor neuron. The strength of the contraction will therefore depend on how many muscle fibers the motor neuron controls. A motor neuron and the group of muscle fibers innervated by its axon constitute a functional unit called the motor unit of a vertebrate muscle. The number of muscle fibers in a motor unit is variable and depends on the fineness of the control a motor unit has to exercise. For instance, a finger muscle has 3 to 6 muscle fibers. 3 to 6 muscle fibers. These are muscle fibers. They are present in the muscles. This is the motor unit, and these are the axons from the neurons that innervate the different small filaments in a muscle. And this is also the motor unit innervation. In a finger muscle, there are at least 3 to 6 muscle fibers. An eyeball has 10 fibers. An eyeball is present in the human eyes, it has 10 fibers. A calf muscle, that is gastrocnemius, has 1900 muscles, 1000 to 900 muscles. And the biceps muscle has 10,000 muscle fibers, highest number of muscle fibers, due to its exercise, due to its nature of usage. But so far the innervation of skeletal muscle is concerned. Innervation means the connection to the nerves, the connection of the neurons to the muscles. So far the innervation of skeletal muscles is concerned. Axon of a motor neuron widens to form a motor end plate. They form the motor end plate at the site where it meets the skeletal muscle. For example, these axons that originate from the brain and the peripheral nervous system, they end into a motor plate. There are knob-like structures. That knob-like structures operate in the different muscle fibers. But there is not a close contact at the motor end plate, at the site where it meets the skeletal muscle fibers. This site is called the neuromuscular or myoneural junction. This is called a neuromuscular or myoneural junction, where the muscles at the motor end plate join with the muscle fibers. Here the axon loses myelin sheath and forms tiny branches passing into shallow troughs on the muscle fiber surface. Sarcolemma forms many deep folds called junctional folds. These are called as junctional folds. This is called the neuromuscular junction. That junction is in between the surface of the muscles and the motor end plate of a neuron. The motor end plate has many acetylcholine containing vesicles. These vesicles are present here. There are a large number of vesicles, synaptic vesicles, present in this motor end plate. The motor end plate has many acetylcholine containing vesicles and mitochondria. A narrow muscle gap exists between the membrane of the end plate and the sarcolemma. But so far this innervation is concerned, there is no close contact between the what we call as the motor end plate, the part of the neuron, and the surface of this muscle. There is a gap. That gap is called as neuromuscular junction. This gap, or what we call as the synapse, it contains a hormone. That hormone is called as acetylcholine. When the message from one neuron to this muscle travels here, but in the junction, the message is transmitted through the chemical substance. But here it is electrochemical in nature, but here it is through the acetylcholine. That acetylcholine is called as hormone. This is all about the structure of where the close contact of the neurons along with the muscle fibers or myofilaments takes place. That's all for today.